Okay, guys, we're back again. 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here. We have a severe thunderstorm warning. We now have two severe thunderstorms. Just as I started speaking that, you can see that one flashing in the lower right-hand corner. That is a brand new one that they just issued. These are for hail and winds in excess of about 60 miles per hour. So this is reason why we have our weather impact alert in effect like we've had over the last few days just because of this. But that will continue. This one, let's slide over here. We've got the one that's in the Winter Haven area. That's in effect until 4 o'clock. And we've got another one now that's out here towards Crooked Lake Park out in the Lake Wales area, mainly just northeast of Lake Wales. And that one's in effect until 4:15. So the big storms that we have been seeing along the coastline in the evenings, Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, those are now inland, and that's pretty similar to what we've been seeing. So hail is just starting to show up. This one here where they now have the new warning, it's about 1/3 of an inch, but what we're thinking here is basically marble size hail to almost penny size hail, right? Just imagine pennies falling from the sky like that. That's kind of size hail that we're looking. And when you get that type of hail, you end up getting pretty good amounts of wind. It's literally pulling air down from up above, and so wind gusts of 55 to 65 miles per hour can't be ruled out. This does include Legoland, although I think the worst of it goes to the west and the east of Legoland. But if you have friends or family that happen to be visiting there today, you may want to give them a text or a call and give them a heads up that time to go grab some lunch because they want to be inside. There's a lot of lightning around the area. The park does a great job of getting people out of that, so they'll probably be getting ushered in now anyways. But these will continue to move towards the north and the east at about 20 miles per hour. I went ahead and I tracked the one that's over there in the Winter Haven area, and that will put it in the Haines City area about 4:13. So that's almost a half an hour from now. Davenport later than that. Very slow movers, but the Winter Haven to Haines City area, that's where we're thinking now, between now and about 4:10, 4:15 or something in that ballpark. Now, let's talk wind. This is the radar looking at the wind. Not seeing a whole lot, but that's just this one particular scan. It's up near 40 miles per hour. And actually, that's kind of widespread. There's going to be some spots in there that see even more. And in fact, I think I could see some here that looks it's in the mid 40s. Okay, so we're going to be keeping an eye on that. I don't see any rotation right now. I'm watching this area near Polk City. I think we're okay as far as that concerned. This is not an atmosphere that makes quite a bit of tornadoes. All right, that's not our big threat for today, but it is the kind that makes the hail and it makes the wind that comes along with that. So if you live in the Winter Haven area, if you live in Haines City, and you can bring the car in, that type of thing, put it in the garage, under the carport, might not be a bad idea to do that. Auburndale as well. I mean, now Russell's Corner, it's over you right now, so you're dealing with it basically right now, Useless Corner. Highland City, Gordonville, more thunderstorm activity than anything else. You'll notice the hail starting to pop up here in Auburndale. Again, that's about penny-size hail, pea to penny-size hail. And then notice over here, when you get over towards Lake Wales, just north of town, that's a pretty good hail core that we've got going on there. You can see that's almost nickel-size hail. So that is another reason why we have the warning. The storms themselves, as I mentioned, are moving to the north and the east around 20 miles per hour. So kind of slow movers, but I think what will happen more than anything else is the stronger cells will kind of move out ahead of it fairly quickly. So I would imagine you're talking 10, maybe 15 minutes of time. And that's a lot of time to have a lot of hail coming down. But I think anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes would be the max that you would have the heaviest rain coming down. So yeah, that is what we expect to continue throughout the rest of the afternoon. The severe weather threat for today is actually not that high, but it is something that we've been keeping an eye on. It's now down to about a 1, if I could say, out of a 5, but that's been dropped down to just thunderstorms in our area. But this area in central and eastern parts of Polk County is kind of on the cusp. We expect the best storms, the biggest storms, to be out over on the East Coast, and that's where these are headed. But certainly you can see this whole area of northeast Polk County is getting ready to get pretty good storms coming through. So Winter Haven, Haines City developing, I-4, especially in the Polk City area, that is going to see a ton of rain out there on I-4. We have a camera in Lakeland, and this is actually looking out towards the storms there, which is most of this is to the east now of Lakeland. So you can see it's actually sunny as can be in the Lakeland area, but we are seeing the darker skies off towards the east there. Now, most of this will continue to move away from Lakeland, But anywhere on I-4 going all the way up to Polk City, those areas, it will continue to fill in. There has been quite a bit of lightning with this, and we expect that with all of the hail that we have been seeing. And that is really isn't going to be no different for the next 30 minutes or so. So once again, severe thunderstorm warning for the Winter Haven area and another one out towards Lake Wales, although Lake Wales looks like most of this is just to the north of you and just out of town. I mean, that's real heavy right in there. Frequent lightning as well. The hail is going to pop up, and we're going to say probably about nickel-size hail there. Ooh, it's getting even bigger. Now, this is a radar estimate. Doesn't mean it's making it to the ground, but certainly we're going to get some larger hail. The last couple of days we've seen, the largest I've seen reported is about the size of a quarter. And I can't rule that out. The best chance for us to see that larger hail was on Wednesday. Yesterday and today, the dynamics aren't quite as good for that, but easily nickel-size hail falling there in the Lake Wales area, mainly just north of town, up on Highway 17, moving north out of town. So up towards Masterpiece Road, up towards Waverly. You can see it gets real rural out there after that, but this is going to be falling in some of those areas. So that's the hail core that you're looking at right there. Here's the storm, including all the lightning. Our lightning strike, what we call strike zone, is pushing everything out to the east. You can see where it was. Here's where it's falling right now. And this will continue to go out in this area here. All right, so everything is moving out to the north and the east. No reports right now of any damage. We're watching the NWS chat here. Not seeing anything like that. Colleen's in the Weather Center as well. This is just pretty much one of our normal thunderstorms, but normal severe thunderstorms, I should say. But we don't tend to get a whole lot of large hail around here. And we've got an upper level low moving over top of us. I'm going to zoom way out here and show you the water vapor. All right, and it's breaking down a little bit, but we've got this kind of spin right here. This started over here, and then it was marching all the way back to right here. Okay, that has colder air in it, right around the center here. And that's the reason why when these storms grow up, they grow up taller, and they grow up into that colder air, and they can make more hail. And so that's the reason why we've had our weather impact alert going the last couple of days, because we knew that we had the better chance for the hail. Now, as far as warning goes, there's several reasons that you get the severe thunderstorm warnings. One of those is large hail, and the other one is damaging winds of 58 miles per hour. They have allowed the Winter Haven storm to expire, or the warning. The storm hasn't expired, but the warning has. That means the winds have dropped down to below 60, and it looks like the hail has gotten smaller. This one is still in effect until 4:15. This is that one right out just east of Lake Wales, and that one is starting to show some of the largest hail. In fact, you can see that over here now, almost 1 inch diameter. Alcoma, it's a little bit smaller than that. That's about marble-sized hail, pea to marble when you get out there towards Alcoma. But again, thank goodness it is very rural out ahead of this, and that is where the storm is headed. We do have some showers and thunderstorms along the coast, but they're now exiting. So this is I-75 here, and you can see up there just east of Wesley Chapel, we've got one little thunderstorm there. And I know this is zoomed out, but I wanted to show you all the way up. We're mainly clearing the coastal sections. And so this is the pattern change. We've had winds that are like this for the last week and a half to 2 weeks. People finally getting used to getting those afternoon showers and storms. Well, that's changing. The wind's kind of like this now, and it'll be a little bit more like this as we get going over the next week or so. So what that means is we're going to end up having more storms here along the coast the first half of the day like we have today, and then they will push inland as we move through our afternoon hours. So if you're watching from Polk County, Hardy, DeSoto, but especially Polk County, you have a better chance of seeing more widespread showers and storms over the next, well, week or so. Right, this pattern's going to go on for a little while. So that is what we expect. I don't think it's going to be a rain out all day long, anything like that. But I do expect that they're going to, at least through tonight, have the chance for some stronger storms. As we get into tomorrow, we still have that upper level low around, but it's moderating a little bit, it's weakening. And so the threat for large hail and really gusty winds like we have out there right now will come down just a little bit. And we're kind of trying to get back into that typical afternoon shower and thunderstorm regime that we usually have this time of the year. Either it's coming from the coast, from the west to the east, or coming from the east to the west. That's changing, but the types of storms will be the same. One thing that we can do here is we can look at all of this in 3D And the way I like to do this is to show you an hour loop of it, and you can see if the storm is growing. And so this one that was over here near Winter Haven, that one has weakened a little bit, and you can actually see that. See, it peaks up there by the Polk City area, but look what's happening right over top of Winter Haven. That one has gotten a little bit weaker. Meanwhile, the one that's out here towards Lake Wales, State Road 60 now, that one has grown. And so they'll probably let this go for another 10 or 15 minutes, but that is a ton of wind and hail coming out of this area right now. That's obviously frequent lightning, but you see these reflectivities, these darker browns. That's where you're getting some hail out of that. Another cell down here. The winds, there we go. That bright green, the brighter the color, the more wind you're looking at. That's about 40 miles per hour. Let's see if we can find some higher numbers in there, 30s and 40s. There's definitely some spots in there that, that's interesting, that are putting winds in the 55 to 60 mile per hour range. I say it's interesting because this is looks like a little bit of rotation here. I'm going to back this up a little bit. Probably some wind coming out of the thunderstorm. If you're in this Rosalie Boulevard area, again, there is not a lot going on. Let me turn this radar off. You can see there's not much out there at all. But if you live out there, northeast of Alcoma, you might want to get into your safe space just to be safe. This indicates that there could be a little bit of rotation, a quick little spin up out there. And that's going to move off towards the north and the east. And you can see, let's zoom in a little bit more and get down into these little communities that are out here, just to the north of the lake here. So if you live anywhere along Rosalie Boulevard, talking Marlisa Cove Road, Rosalie Oaks Boulevard, anywhere in this area right in here, I would be in your shelter. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for you. We do not have a tornado warning, but at least we have the possibility of 55, 60 mile per hour winds coming through. And I am seeing a little bit of rotation there on the radar, and it makes me a little nervous. So we had a spin up yesterday happen, and we could certainly, or 2 days ago, we could certainly have it happen again today. There's the radar, and that's showing some of the heaviest reflectivity right in that area, mainly out over the lake and maybe just to the east. But this is my concern here, because you got, looks like something kind of doing something like this right here, or maybe even right in here. So either way, it looks like there's some rotation up there. If law enforcement sees it, we'll go ahead and let you know that they can post, they can call the NWS. We really don't want any pictures or anything like that. If you live in that area now, we want you in your safe spot. Make sure that you're okay. This is passing pretty quickly. It's moving to the northeast around 20 miles per hour, but as I was mentioning, it seems like the stronger part of the storms is actually propagating further to the northeast a little bit quicker than that. So that would get it out of the area now, because Lake Wales, the heaviest has come through. You do not have the all clear yet, excuse me, in Lake Wales, because the lightning's still too close, okay? Same thing goes with Legoland, same thing goes with the Winter Haven area. I know you're probably hearing now the rain coming down, but look at all of this lightning that's still occurring just to the north of you. And this lightning can go out 10, 20 miles. So here we are from Legoland right now. We're talking less than 2 miles. Even this batch right here is less than 10 miles. Okay, so all that lightning is still in the area, and it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes at least for it to clear that stretch. Now, Polk City, you're on the northern end of this, and it should be moving into your neck of the woods here momentarily. In fact, it looks like it's building in that direction. You get up towards Celebration area in Kissimmee, the Disney area. They've got scattered showers coming through, but this line is going to be very close to them if it holds together. The one good thing is that we've got some storminess out here that's cooling the atmosphere a little bit. But you see how this line is getting a little more organized right here. Pretty good straight line there. Haines City, let me show you where this warning is. It's to your south and east, but you still have this little section here coming in. So no warning for that, but certainly 40, 45 mile per hour winds and some small hail possible. This area that we do have the warning still in effect until 4:15. This is out here east of Lake Wales, the Alcoma area. It's really starting to see the hail get going here. Look at that. And there's probably some in there that's even closer to an inch in diameter. So watch out for that. An inch in diameter is not quite ping pong ball, but now you're getting up there you're close to a quarter, close to better than the size of a nickel. And that's the kind that can do damage. In fact, that's one of the reasons why we get severe thunderstorm warnings when the hail gets to be of that size. You can have some small hail, doesn't do too much, but the larger hail can do it. All of this will be out of here out of Polk County, I'd say in about 2 hours or so. So what would that put us at? About 5:30, 6 o'clock? At least most of it will. If you can see the coastal sections here, back out towards Pinellas, we've got some rain right here at the station. I can hear it on the building right now. That's the type of thing that I think will continue through the rest of the early evening hours. A stray pop-up shower or storm here or there, especially along and west of I-75. But most of the activity is done for the day. For the immediate Tampa Bay area, St. Pete, Bradenton, Sarasota, Tarpon Springs, Pasco County. We've got some good storms up into eastern Hernando County and eastern Citrus County, but they are actually moving out of the area as well. And so I think the clearing will continue as we go through the next hour here. The bigger storms, as you can see, watch the brighter reds moving very quickly through this Polk City, Winter Haven area. That's the main concern right now. Poinciana area, Kissimmee. These storms will fill in. I think some of them will weaken just a little bit, but I would plan on having a good line of thunderstorms. And let me go ahead and track this for you. I'm going to lead it just a little bit because some of those numbers seemed a little too long for me. But that would be Haines City by about 4:06. That makes much more sense. Earlier it was saying 4:13. Dundee at 4:16. Poinciana right around 4:29, and Citrus Ridge at 4:41. By that time, I can't tell it's going to be that hard. I certainly can tell you're going to get some good rain coming through the area. If you notice over in the Bartow area now, the storm came through and now it's just light to moderate rainfall. The tops of these clouds are really tall. I mean, we're upwards of 50,000 feet here, 51,000, right? Where we see these tall cloud tops, 45 to 50,000 feet, we tend to get some moderate rainfall after the big storm goes by. So I would imagine this area from Lake Wells, Hillcrest Heights right in here, and then this area right in here will likely end up with some light to moderate rainfall. So once we get the lightning out of here, the severe weather goes away, the highest winds go away, but then we'll be left with some rainfall there. So if you have some plans over the next hour or two, keep that in mind. You might end up, it's actually sometimes you can actually work outdoors in it, right? It might actually feel good. But I do think it will stay wet, especially from Bartow to Winter Haven, south and east. All right, now let's get back out to our warning now. Weather Service has discontinued the Winter Haven one, but still have this other one here that's out towards Alcombe, basically east of Lake Wales until 4:15. Lightning count, let's go out to that. Let me show you that because that is looking impressive for sure. And this is just in the last 10 minutes in this area, north of 60, almost 100, 99 strikes. Well, it has been 177 total strikes. There we go. So almost 180 strikes right there. Very, very frequent lightning. This can cause some wildfires. We know we've been dry. This particular area, though, has actually had more rain. Well, at least over the past month, we really started seeing it. This past week, we haven't seen as much. But the drought conditions aren't as bad. I would still keep an eye on that. We may end up getting some fires started here by all of the lightning. This will continue to the northeast. If you notice, we get over into northeastern Hillsborough County. A couple good little thunderstorms developing there, but nothing severe at this time. That'll move out of Thanona-Sassa area. In fact, it's already east of there, and move up into northwestern parts of Polk County. And I think most of this stays southeast of Zephyr Hills, but Z Hills, we can't rule out a little storm. In fact, you can see there's some rain just to the west here. Again, no severe parameters with that. This is just a little storm right over there at Wesley Chapel. That's the ice arena right there at Wesley Chapel on 75. So one little shower, the kids probably running in there to go play some hockey. All right, Lake Alfred, big storm coming through. The hail is mainly to your west, but this is going to be very close as it's moving something just like this. All right, so if you're in the Lake Alfred area, no warning at this particular time, but certainly we could see winds about 45 to 50 miles per hour, and we're going to get quite a bit of hail north of Auburndale, west of downtown Lake Alfred. Okay, up there on State Road 557, right in this area, Old Lake Alfred Road. Let me zoom in a little bit more because these are the areas that are going to get hit. Adams Road, Gapway Road, that's where the hail is now, and it will continue to move further to the north and the east. We're kind of getting out a little bit more rural area again. I can turn this off and you can see we've got the lakes here, but the areas, unfortunately, that are getting right now have the most population in that area. Back out to our Warren cell, that is getting even stronger. You can see the reflectivities all in here. ton of lightning as well, that's a big indicator that we've got some hail. We've got some pretty good hail. 0.7, so that's about nickel size hail there. And not shocking, right? So it's pretty much what we expect. That's interesting. Watching for some of the winds. I don't see any rotation at this point. That's good news. This is that area that we were watching. So you can see this little hook in here. That's what I'm kind of keeping an eye on. But watch what happens. That was 348. And now you can see it's pushing out. What that is showing you is this area right here of green is probably got about 45 mile per hour winds in it. All right, perhaps even up as high as 55. So that is collapsing though. There's the good news. There it's real strong. Right there, boom, lots of wind, spreading out. Once you see when we call it bowing out, because the wind is literally coming down and pushing out in that direction. And when that happens, you can see it just spread out. And that's an indication that the storm is weakening just a little bit. But I'll tell you what, not before we get a ton of lightning out of it. All right, so that's getting out of our area over here into Polk County. Excuse me, out of Polk County. Still have the warning in effect for another 16 minutes here. Back down south, look at this. Anna Maria, Bradenton, we're looking great. Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota. Again, a real small rain chance, but most of that is past. Now you get into the Bay Area, and it gets a little bit trickier here because we've got a lot of boundaries going on here, and that's why these storms are popping up. So let me stop it to where we are right now. We've got the sea breeze is kind of stuck over here. We've got an outflow boundary from a storm over here. We've got another one right in here. And watch when I put this into motion, you can see these things moving. And where they collide is where you get these storms. So this one and this one have collided, and that's what's popping up these showers and storms. We have that because we have a lot of sea breeze activity around the bay. You get your sea breeze from the Gulf, and then you also get a sea breeze that goes around the bay, something like this. And then you may have a storm over here, and it makes another outflow boundary, and then it gets really messy. That is the reason why I'm saying that I expect to see a few scattered showers in the immediate Tampa Bay area through at least 5 o'clock, but they would be small. We've had pretty good thunderstorms already in the area, and they will not last very long. And that's the good news. We've kind of zapped a lot of the energy out of the atmosphere. Our warning here continues. Not seeing any damage reported yet. This sky over here in Lakeland, that's pretty impressive, and even darker because we have the sun getting up in underneath of it. Sun obviously coming in out of the west now, but you can see we've had some really good clouds here. Lightning has been. What was the gust, Colleen? 43. Where was that?
That storm that's north of Lakeland, the one that's not warned.
Okay. 43 for that, right? Oh yeah, that was Lake Alfred. Lake Alfred, 43 mile per hour gusts, yeah. No hail reports yet, and I'm kind of waiting for that because that should come in. Let's take you back out here to the radar where this warned area is. But we should be seeing some hail reports come in. Again, a lot of this area is very rural, so that's the good news. But I'll tell you what, we had pea-sized hail here at the station the other day. Some of it was a little bit bigger than that, and it was pretty loud. I mean, you could hear it hitting the roof, and it definitely was something I was worried about the cars out there. All right, what do we got here? We've got severe thunderstorm warning. Is this a new one? 401. Yeah, we got a new one. So let me zip this out. What they've done is they've got this area right here in Poinciana area. So you see that right there? They just added this right here. And it's just kind of covering for this line. But you notice that they draw it out to the Polk County line. The National Weather Service office in Melbourne takes care of the counties over here on the East Coast. The Ruskin office here takes care of these counties, and so that's why they issue it out to the county line. Mother Nature doesn't care about the county line, so obviously if you live in that area, you want to be keeping an eye on it. But that's a sign that it's all the way up to the east of the county now, and what's back behind it is on the weaker side. For the most part. When we come out here, look at this. This is a strong cell right here out in the Morrisville area, Crystal Springs. It's going to be early for me to measure any hail, but there it is. Yeah, that's going to have pea to penny size hail right there. And that's moving to the north and the east as well. Again, No warning for this. Ooh, that's a good one too, north of Polk City. Look at the hail there. It's just starting to show up. Referring to this one here, that's a pretty good one. No warnings for either of these cells, and hopefully they don't last very long since we've had some rain around earlier. Mulberry, still some rain left around. Most of the lightning's done. You see there's one little strike that was kind of left over. This has been about 5 to 7 minutes. So it's getting further and further away. Keysville, we're basically getting almost the all clear now, even from the lightning. But Mulberry, Green Bay, Bartow, still not quite out of the lightning. You can see it's about 1.5 miles, 2.5 miles north of you. You still have some lightning. That's pretty good rain. You get out there in frostproof area right now. Just solid rain more than anything else. Look how fast, watch, this is what I was referring to. Watch how fast this just pops over to the east here. And that is a ton of lightning. This is the warned cell here. And unfortunately, not a whole lot of population out here. But that's going to get some really big hail here. This should come in a little bit bigger here in a minute. Nickel-size hail. So the hail product that we have, it actually lags a little bit behind what you're seeing on the radar. But that's going to be some big hail. And you can just tell from the high reflectivities, but also all the lightning. Hail is basically bouncing off each other up there in the top of that storm. And when it does, that creates static electricity. And so, yeah, you tend to have lightning, obviously, in thunderstorms, but you will get a lot more of it when you have larger hail just kind of bouncing off each other, making that static electricity. And so that's why you can actually look at the radar and see where all the lightning is and assume that you've got some pretty good hail there. That one's continuing. This one out here in northeast Hillsborough and Morrisville, that one is building. That's pretty strong. No warning on that one, but that one does have penny-sized, pea to penny-sized hail. Let's put it that way. But that is, again, a possibility to continue to get a little bit larger and move over towards the Socrum area and eventually over towards Branchboro. But that's going to spread out a little bit. And I think if you're west of there, out towards Thonona-Sassa, and even up to Wesley Chapel, things will be clearing out here pretty quickly. I don't think they're going to issue any watches for the area. That would be looking at a severe thunderstorm watch, but I don't think that will happen. There is a small possibility that it happens maybe over on the East Coast, but you see all this rain that they're already seeing. That's kind of cooled the atmosphere a little bit. So I think this right here in northeast Polk County is where we're going to see the heaviest of it. Right now, our 2 warnings. We've got one in effect until 4:15. We've got the second one. It's the small one here that takes it out until 4:15, the same cell. And then you probably noticed there's another one that extends further to the northeast. This is from Melbourne, NWS, National Weather Service. They've issued that for Orange and Osceola counties until 4:45. So, yeah, most of the Disney stuff is up here. I just saw it, Lake Buena Vista here. But it looks like most of these storms so far have been just south of I-4, just on the other side in the Orlando area. Legoland's getting better at this particular point. We're down to more rain than anything else. Wow, look at this. I mean, this cell is really flaring up right here. Let's go back out and take a look at our hail. It should be getting bigger than that. I should see more than that here in just a few minutes. So we got another severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see what the new one is. Oh, okay. They went ahead. Now we got one up north. So let's talk about that. We've got this one up here in Citrus County. It's kind of, well, actually moving into Sumter. But yeah, look at that. See, we've got a ton of hail in this one right here. Whew. Look at that, right on 48. 1.4-inch diameter hail. That is huge. And now that tends to overdo it just a little bit. But that's an indication that we have some very large hail in that area. That warning, let me get back out here, is in effect probably till 4:45, I would imagine, 4:30, all right, for Citrus and Sumter counties. This is out mainly east of Floral City, all right, north of Bay Hill, although there's the heaviest hail. That hail core is right over 48 right now. And this is all moving off to the north and the east. It's moving about the same speed. It's about 20 miles per hour or so, so I'll put a little track on that one for you. I'll put it out towards Carlson about 419. Long Hammock about 445. That's a big difference. A very rural area up there for sure, especially in that central and northern parts of Sumter County. But again, nothing different. Hail makers, right? That's what we've been seeing. We just didn't see them as much inland, but the pattern has changed. The wind's blowing everything to those inland locations. So a couple of them. Let me zoom out here. We've got two that are left over here in Polk County. These two areas right here. They're just about to the Polk County line, very rural area. And then we've got this one up into Citrus County. Notice what's happening here. This one's really starting to flare up too. This is in northeast Polk County. That's up there near Davenport and Loudoun. If you're in the Loudoun area, I'd be watching for this one as well. That's really starting to kind of strengthen up here. And you can see the lightning's starting to increase as well. Probably gonna get a good hail maker out of this before it's all said and done. The warning is over here for this cell, but that's the one that's coming up from the south and the west. So all of this will be continuing to build towards Citrus Ridge and Celebration area. Just rain at this particular point for you guys, but that should go downhill. I think you're going to see some heavier storms coming through. Polk City, it's just to the north and the west at this point. I think this is going to build to the north as well, but you can see, look what's happening right here. And that's going to be moving into the area. So this is Polytechnic on the right when you're driving out there, the big college. In fact, you know what? Let's go to our Plant City camera, and I hope this is out at City Furniture. Yeah, there we are, City Furniture. So this is kind of the back side of that, looking towards the Lakeland area. It's a little bit removed. Lakeland's a little bit closer than that, all right? But you can see up I-4, and that whole stretch, even from Plant City all the way up, is going to end up giving us quite a bit of a traffic issue for a Friday afternoon. So that's another thing to keep in mind. We do have Lakeland getting better, all right? Looking fine. The storms are building off towards the north. I don't think we'll have too many issues. We can't not rule out another storm coming through, but if you see what's happening upstream here from Plant City down to Hopewell, this is evaporating. And you can see, watch right in there, and that should continue to do so. So this was our best chance of seeing any rain. Temperatures obviously have dropped because of the rain-cooled air, and with all this hail, it really lowers those temperatures as well.
Yeah, for Citrus County, they're concerned about the hail, and they said there might be a little bit of a downburst with that storm.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Colleen. And this is the one here. Let's go back and see if we can see any kind of downburst. Probably looking at that right in there. So what we're doing, this is the velocity product. What this does is it shows the rotation, or when we're looking at tornadoes, but ultimately it just shows the movement of the rain towards or away from the radar, right? So this red is going away from the radar, the green's coming towards the radar. At this point, I want to see high speeds. I want to see something like this. So you can see this brighter reds here. That's going to give us 22 mile per hour winds. That's nothing. But there'll be a spot in here where we probably had some higher winds. Yeah, you see it's almost starting to pick up right here. So what we've seen over the last 48 hours or so, where we did see some of the larger cells with large hail, we got really good winds in that, and then what you can get is something called a downburst, which is a ton of wind coming down. That can go 55, 65, 75 mile per hour winds down. I would imagine we're pushing 60 miles per hour with this particular cell there east of Floral City. Hence the reason for the warning. No reports yet. Haven't had any, or at least no reports of damage. The only wind reports we've had were Lake Alfred, I think, which was around 43 miles per hour. 1 inch diameter hail. This is the one where we got the new one here. So Lake Wales is coming out. We've got the second one here. We've got the new one there. And let me check out. And we've got the one up into Citrus County. So the Citrus Sumter could have almost an inch of hail, inch diameter hail in this particular one. Let's see if the hail's caught up with it. Oh yeah, you can see that there. So this is the east of Floral City. Very, very rural area out here, but that's where it's headed, okay? It's the Withlacoochee River right here. And that is going to be on the northwest side of that, north of Bay Hill. But I tell you, somebody got a ton of hail right there, that's for sure, especially east of Floral City. The cell itself has now moved a little bit further to the north, so here's 48 coming through up through Bushnell Road. But you can see that's where the cell is. And again, very, very rural area. Thank goodness. Ton of hail in that one. All right, let's go out bigger picture here. The mid-levels of the atmosphere also have winds out of the west. Well, I shouldn't say that. Winds out of the west of the mid-levels. The southwest at the surface. And so the storms are blowing off to the north and the east, but you'll notice the tops of these clouds are kind of blowing off in this direction. I mentioned that because that's going to blow basically everything away from the coast this evening. We'll have one or two of these popping up, but for the most part, it's going to be a much, much quieter evening for Pinellas and Hillsborough and Pasco and western Manatee County, whereas it's been busy the last couple of evenings. So our warnings now, we still have one. It's 4:14 now. We'll see if we want to let go of these ones that are out here in eastern Polk County. In fact, I'm sure they will because they're just about out of the county at this particular point. I'm going to let you go here too in just a minute. Watch this one that's up here near Lauman. That one will get up into celebration area here in just about 10 minutes. Nothing too severe at this particular time. The one north of Polk City, not terrible. That will have some hail in it. Right now, that's about pea size, maybe penny, but closer to pea size hail there. And that too will continue to drift to the north and the east around 20 miles per hour. So lightning, storms, high winds, kind of typical, but this is the atypical part about all of this is the fact that we're seeing more hail than what we normally would. And that will start to break down over the upcoming weekend. So when we do see scattered showers and storms, we'll be watching for it. But I don't expect, especially tomorrow and in the Sunday and even in the next week, that we will get as much hail around. We'll have some slightly warmer air aloft. But any day of the summer here that we have thunderstorms, you can get a severe thunderstorm warning. You can get one that's going to put down quite a bit of rain, and then you can end up with a possible, and once in a blue moon, you can get a tornado warning. But usually we're talking severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's talk a little bit of precip here. These numbers are just coming in, but I'm telling you, we could probably put down about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in some of the heavier amounts, and I really think the heaviest is going to be right out here in northeastern Polk County. All right, so those areas that are getting it right now, this is not adding up yet, but Haines City to Citrus Ridge, Waverly, Poinciana, those areas are going to have the highest. Lynchburg, just north of town, what do we get here? Right between Lynchburg and Polk City, it looks like about 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. And you probably saw a little bit more than that because the radar is still kind of adding it up and it's actually still raining in that area. But good storms, big storms for this time of the year. All right, guys, that's it for us here. We're going to let you go, and we'll join you at 5 o'clock on 10 Tampa Bay. This severe thunderstorm warning is the last one that's in our neck of the woods. It's in far eastern Citrus County, and it is just about done at this point. Very rural area. The forest is up there. It's beautiful. Just not a lot of people there. Floral City, I think that's about it. The all clear is not still there for Floral City because the lightning's right there to the east. That whole stretch going up 41, if you live along 41, and I'd say even 44, up there in Inverness, east of Inverness. Obviously, the storm's still over Inverness, but you want to stay inside, keep the kids inside. I know it's summertime. They'll tear up the house. You keep them inside for too long, but you don't want them out in this storm right now. Give it another 30 minutes before this passes, so that would put it to about 4:45 or so before we should be really clearing things out and they'll be safe. Remember, guys, when thunder roars, go indoors. I know it's Florida, it's hard to do, but you really want to keep your eyes to the sky. This weekend's a little different because we don't have the storms coming from east to west. So if you are headed to the beach, I would watch it in the morning hours through about lunchtime, and then things should be pushing inland, but anytime through about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we can get some pop-up storms. So just whatever you're doing out this weekend, make sure you keep an eye to the sky. And if you hear thunder, you need to look all the way around you because you could be in the zone that you could still get struck by lightning. Okay, that's it for now. We'll let you go. We'll be on air at 5 o'clock. 10 Tampa Bay. Plus, don't forget you can do that. You're streaming that here. Share it with your friends so they know that it's possible. And what we're going to do is put the 24/7 weather stream on now as well. It's always up. But I'm going to put just the radar in there so we can kind of home in on some of these places here. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.